Most of us operate on the assumption that our existence is finite, a brief 80-year window before the lights simply go out. But the cost of being dictates that information, much like energy, cannot be destroyed. Thermodynamics treats existence as a paid subscription. You must spend energy to maintain a state, but the underlying data remains part of the cosmic ledger. Consciousness functions as a highly complex informational structure, a self-referential database that persists completely independent of its physical substrate. It is the stable record of identity that remains even when the biological hardware fails. Landauer's principle proves that erasing even a single bit of information releases heat into the environment. In a universe where information is conserved, the specific data pattern of the observer, your memories, your choices, your specific awareness, cannot be deleted without violating the laws of physics. This conservation of data pushes the timeline into the extreme. Without a mechanism for total erasure, the conscious experience continues for millions, billions, and decillions of consecutive years into the future. That permanence creates an existential vacuum. If your consciousness is an indestructible pattern, you are trapped in whatever reality architecture we collectively build. A flawed societal structure becomes an eternal, inescapable nightmare. Survival across these timescales requires moving past the concept of the isolated individual. We must look at the multiscale isomorphism model, the reality that humans function as individual cells within a larger societal macroorganism. This societal body has a functional anatomy. Individuals who process philosophy, strategy, and deep architecture act as the cognitive head, directing the trajectory of the whole. Those executing physical labor and kinetic action form the hands, while the foundational support and logistics that keep the system upright form the legs and feet. Within the tissue, marrow cells operate. These are hyper-generative individuals who proactively pump vital information and resources to heal fractured sites, maintaining the collective without needing external commands. Eternal survival is structurally impossible for a single isolated cell. Coherence across decillions of years can only be maintained if these cells operate as one unified, self-regulating body. This societal body often carries a hidden defect, mapped in the historical metaphor of Daniel 2, a massive, top-heavy statue resting entirely on feet made of mixed iron and brittle clay. In systemic terms, the iron and clay are the foundational human assumptions, partial truths or convenient lies that the collective treats as absolute, unyielding laws. This creates an epistemological failure. When a society's worldview operates at a value of 0.99 but is mathematically treated as a perfect 1, the entire structure calculates a perpetual, invisible error that eventually forces a collapse. Into this miscalculated system comes the stone cut without human hands, the sudden insertion of unyielding fundamental truth that refuses to accommodate the local error. The resulting moral collision operates like subatomic physics. Fundamental truth acts as matter, and human assumptions act as antimatter. When absolute truth strikes the foundational lies of society, they violently annihilate one another. The structure cannot sustain the sudden resolution of its mathematical contradictions. Absolute truth forces a structural vaporization. Because the fabric of reality cannot physically support a mathematical contradiction, the system simply ceases to exist at the moment of contact. After the vaporization of these fragile assumptions, fundamental truth expands in scale.
It becomes the new, unshakable bedrock upon which reality must be rebuilt. Rebuilding requires a specific action. In the original Hebrew, the name Israel describes the act of struggling or wrestling with the divine. It is an active order vector. The chaos vector wrestles against the source, creating friction. The order vector wrestles alongside the creator, performing the kinetic labor required to align the physical environment with the absolute blueprint. This alignment provides the structural definition of good. It is the active expansion of possibility and coherence for the entire cellular body over an indefinite time span. You are facing a timeline that does not end. Use that terrifying certainty to align your social cell with fundamental truth today. ensuring your eternal trajectory is a shared paradise rather than a perpetual collapse.